Today I'm going to be playing through Pokemon Crystal, starting with our first gym leader being Blue, and ending with our last gym leader being Falkner. This game is called Crystal Clear, and if you haven't heard of it, basically it's open world Pokemon in a Game Boy Color game. You can start wherever you want in either of the two regions, and you even get to choose between a lot of starters. I'm going to take on the gym challenge, but completely backwards. So it's going to be Blue for Gym 1, Blaine for Gym 2, and so on and so on. I did kind of mess up one order of the gym, but I don't think it was too big a deal. All the gyms will obviously scale depending on what gym badges I have, and some routes have additional Pokemon to them. This is a regular Nuzlocke, and apparently this game gets really difficult, but hopefully we can beat it. If you guys like the video, man. That's all I'm asking. Also subscribe, because if you already like the video, you're not too far off from subscribing. The button's right there on your screen. Alright, so we can pick whatever city we want to start in, and I decided to go with Cinnabar Island, which apparently has a 5-star difficulty setting. I hope that doesn't mean 5 stars like in GTA and we're going to be a wanted fugitive, because that wouldn't look so good on my gym resume, now would it? I've been meaning to use a seal for the longest, so I picked him as my starter and named him Jackson. Now, I don't know if the other starters have good moves, but they gave my boy Surf, which is huge right now. Our house is pretty small, but we have access to the Cinnabar Tunnel, and that means our first wild encounter. I weakened it, but yeah, it has Roar. Dang it. The good news is while traveling through this cave behind my house, I ran into the Pokemon Mansion. Here I found a Vulpix which was level 12, but I did manage to get it super weak and caught it. I named her Sally, and since we have Surf, I went into the water and found a Tentacool who I named Brainiac. Everything was going pretty well while swimming up to Pallet Town until I found out that the Pokemon in the water were a significantly higher level than me. Somehow, I managed to run away from every Tentacool I saw, and even living on 3 HP with Brainiac. Alright, I probably should have started in Viridian City to take on Blue, but oh well. This is a Nuzlocke, but I didn't want to catch a Pokemon on every route since we should have a ton of encounters anyway. I did catch Clockwork here on Route 1 though. I also caught Joey's Rattata on Route 22. Well anyways, it's time to fight our first gym leader, Blue. He actually has 4 Pokemon, which was a surprise to me. His Abra took a lot from Surf, but can you believe this thing has Thunder Punch? That did a lot. Anyways, another Surf can knock it out and his own Rattata comes out. I did just go for Surf tanking a quick attack and right after switching to Brainiac who got crit. He didn't crit again, so our Poison Sting hit and got a poison. From here I sent out Sally to finish this thing with a quick attack. Thankfully Sally here is level 12 and Pidgey can't even live 2 embers. Of course his last Pokemon has to be Squirtle, but his bubble wasn't doing anything. I just decided to Tail Whip until Sally was dead and went into Jackson who could headbutt, and luckily Squirtle only used Tail Whip. I don't know why I switched since I didn't know he had a full restore, but thank god I did since I was able to get Joey in for free, and a couple of quick attacks was able to get him into the red, and goodbye Joey. I sent in Clockwork and come on, another full restore? With a couple of tackles and an unnecessary crit, Blue was finally defeated, and wow, that was actually a tough fight. I forgot to mention, and you've probably noticed already, but Pokemon walk with you, which I absolutely adore. On Route 2 I ran into a Spinnerack who I named Ariana. After this I made my way all the way up to Pewter City, but not to fight Brock since our next gym leader had to be Blaine. So I had to make it all the way around the region to somehow get back to Blaine's gym. However, in Pewter City I found an old Amber which I took with me just in case. From here I wanted to travel to Fuchsia City, and on the way I ran into a Mareep which made me so excited. I named him JJ and pressed onwards towards Fuchsia. Originally I wanted to go to Vermilion to see if there was a fairy there, but there wasn't, so finally in Fuchsia we did find one. This guy says it's $1,500 to travel, and I actually wanted to do something in Johto. Like I said, this is completely open world, so you can go anywhere and fight whatever gym you want first. Anyways, I made my way to Mahogany Town so I could trade a Pokemon for this Swinub. Now, I wasn't planning on using a Piloswine, but I wanted the Smoke Ball he was holding since the wild Pokemon were a super high level and I needed to get back to Cinnabar Island. The funny thing is though, this didn't really do anything. I don't even think I needed the Smoke Ball at all, since the ferry in Fuchsia City literally connects to the ferry in New Cinnabar, which is a new city in the game by the way. There goes 20 minutes I'll never get back. Maybe even more than 20 since there was a ferry all the way back in Cerulean as well. Anyways, in this new town I randomly stumbled across the Pokemon Lab, which would actually resurrect the Aerodactyl I had in my bag. He told me he would call me, so while waiting I decided to take on Blaine, whose gym was in the city. I was just kind of guessing what the levels for the gyms were throughout the entire run, and I wasn't too off. It didn't matter as much since this isn't a hardcore Nuzlocke. I didn't imagine this gym would be that hard since Jackson here has basically the best water type move in the game aside from Waterfall and Hydro Pump. His first Pokemon was Slugma, and yeah, I was pretty over leveled, so that went down easy. And his Magby did as well. His ace was level 16, but Surf at this point in the game is just absolutely absurd. Right after this, our friend at the lab called us and told us to pick up our new pet. I named him Aerosmith, and this was a monster at this point of the game as well. Now here's where I made the mistake I was talking about earlier. I fought Janine first instead of Sabrina, but I'm sure the teams don't change that much, so it wasn't a big deal. This gym was pretty easy as she led a Zubat and I led JJ. A couple of Thunder Shocks and that's dead, but we did get poisoned. From here, Coughing came out and Aerosmith pretty much took care of that one and the one after it. A Venonat? Yeah, right. And a Spinarak? No way, Janine. I mean, they should have at least given her a Grimer instead of just 2 Coughings. After beating this gym, the Pokemon League told me to stay away from Snorlaxes, and I love not listening, so eventually, you bet I went after the big guy. For now though, I took the ferry to Cerulean City, where I easily made my way to the left of Saffron City. In this grass, I found a Houndour who I named Lady. Now, unfortunately, I still didn't notice I hadn't fought Sabrina, but it's okay. Kento was always a choose who you're going to fight next region anyway. Funny thing is, Houndour is great for both Erica and Sabrina. I did evolve Lady immediately into a Houndoom and took on Erica. She started with that Tangela, and I mean, she just didn't stand a chance. Her Weeping Bell took about 4 embers thanks to her having a Hyper Potion, and again, another one bites the dust in one hit. Gloom lived on half and tried to Solar Beam, but geez, like what are you thinking, Erica? You should probably call Animal Control on all the wild Houndour ruining your win streak. Stop looking at the women, you weirdo. After this gym, I remembered about that Snorlax, and I went towards Vermilion City. She was actually just chilling in the city, so I played her a nice melody, caught her, and named her Your Mom. Might as well have her walking with us since she needs some exercise. While exploring the region, I ran into a biker on accident, and well, his Coughing has self-destruct. Come on, man. At least we still have a Seal on the team. Well, you should have been our 3rd gym fight, but this probably makes this fight a lot harder anyways. If you can even call it that, since Houndoom just bit everything in its path. I just imagine Lady here biting the crap out of Alakazam's mustache, swinging him around. I need some fan art of that. Our next gym was going to be Lieutenant Serge, and although I did think we could beat him in a match, I wanted to make things super easy, so I booked a ride to Olivine City, and before I hopped on the boat, this lady tells me she's waiting for the boat to leave for Olivine City. Lady? We're already gone. I made my way all the way to Blackthorn City, and there's a road connecting the ice path to it. There's no way Blackthorn is this close to the cave's entrance, but I guess it does make sense. I came all the way here since on the route below we can catch a beautiful Donphan named Dumbo for obvious reasons. I love Donphan, but he didn't have any ground type moves for the next gym, but then I thought, wait, maybe we can just go to Victory Road and get the TM for Earthquake. So I evolved JJ into an Ampharos, made my way all the way back to Viridian, explored Victory Road, and found the TM for Earthquake. With that, I taught it to Dumbo and went back to challenge Lieutenant Serge. He led a Pikachu which had no idea what was coming, and I mean, why bother explaining the rest? Everything on his team just got decimated by our little elephant. I knew you were the right pick for the job, Dumbo. Of course, Misty was up next, and I thought this would be a cakewalk, and her Psyduck was, but she hit me with a curveball with that Quagsire. Your Mom came out though and nearly died since I tried to belly drum, but eventually we were able to finish this thing off. This was tough since Lapras came out next and I had 3 Pokemon weak to water. I decided to stay in and sack Your Mom, but Your Mom is the greatest of all time and lived a big surf at 2 HP. With that, a Strength was able to KO Lapras. Starmie was out and I sent in Jackson to maybe get her to use something other than Surf, but it just didn't work, so I had to get in JJ for free. I decided to sack Aerosmith since I just wasn't using him at all anymore, and from here a single Thunder Punch was able to finally get us a W. Wow, that was difficult. But honestly, if I didn't belly drum, we might have been fine. Now, Brock was our last gym leader in Kento, but we had to evolve our good old starter into a Dugong, and man do I love this guy. I also ended up catching a Grimer in Celadon's murky water and named him Gary. Are the people in Celadon really drinking this water? Brock being our last gym challenge, I led our starter Jackson. Graveler obviously stands no chance, but immediately after an Omastar came out. We both traded Surf, so after I went into JJ on a Spike Cannon, which was big because the following turn his Surf left us at 9 HP. Fortunately, a Thunder Punch was able to take this thing out and Rhyhorn came out next. From here, Jackson was able to clean up the rest of the team with ease. Alright, half of the game done, and now we can make our way to Johto. I wasted no time and arrived in Blackthorn City, evolving Muck on the way. We knocked on Claire's chambers, and boom, down goes both her 3 Dragonairs thanks to Jackson's Ice Beams. Come on, Claire. I didn't stay in on her Kingdra, and her Dragon Breath didn't do anything. I belly jumped to max our attack, and her Surf got us super low, but it was worth it since a single Strength obliterated that monster. Her last Pokemon was Charizard, since we have no other dragons in the game, and they always resort to Charizard. Lance. I sent out Dumbo, who tanked an Earthquake. We ate a Flamethrower, but unfortunately we missed a big rollout and had to switch. I did go into Jackson despite Flamethrower being neutral since the rain was up from Kingdra's Rain Dance. Her second one though did a chunk to us and our Surf didn't KO, but we were too far along, so I risked it, and there we go. Jackson, that's what I'm talking about. That's a true starter if I've ever seen one. Okay, Grimer looks like a Swalot following me. That's hilarious. Since Mahogany is directly next to Blackthorn, we can easily walk over and take on Price. The only exciting thing that happened here was that Sneasel froze me while I belly drummed. We did get pretty low, but I had Defense Curl and Amnesia, so Leftovers was slowly getting our health back, and once we were good, I just strengthed everything on his team. You know, after this brutally long freeze. I don't know why this was ever a thing in these games. Now for Jasmine, I led Dumbo, and I was a little underleveled for this fight. Dumbo easily took out this Magneton with an Earthquake, but apparently Jasmine decides to throw us a Curveball and sends out a Blastoise. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see Blastoise being a Steel type, but not in this game. I don't know if you forgot, Jasmine, but your specialty is Steel types. I hard switched into JJ, who took under half from a Surf, and after taking one more, our Thunder Punch did half to her. Then I went to Gary, who took even less from that Surf, but I didn't have very good moves, so our Sludge didn't do much. Your mom did a pretty good job on finishing it off, though. I'm sorry. Wow, that sounds so wrong. Anyway, Scissor was up next, and Lady was lucky to switch into a Swords Dance, and after a Flamethrower easily took care of the job. This Steelix is 10 levels higher than Lady, so I had to get out of here, and I did just sack Gary since he wasn't helping at all. Sorry, Gary Bear. Jackson easily just surfed away until it was down, and that's our 11th gym badge. I ended up taking the ferry to Cianwood, and I noticed this door was locked, so it told me to call up Randy. Randy said it was on sale for 40 grand, and I was like, hey. I have that type of money, so why not? A champion needs his own place after all. Also, Cinnabar isn't the best place to be with that volcano still there. They say it's not active, but trust me, all it takes is one Moltres to come in and boom. I didn't really have much for Chuck, so I went to go catch something and found a Pidgey. I evolved it into a Pidgeot, and now we were ready. Chuck's Primate wasn't too hard thanks to Maverick here, but he sent out a Shuckle, and I was like, okay, maybe we can go into our mom to get a belly drum off. That's what I did, and eventually while defense curling, we got nearly all of our health back, and luckily he was missing rollouts and not getting a crit, so down goes Shuckle. For some reason, the Poliwrath used Mind Reader instead of attacking me, but oh well. Down goes that. But Champ was out, and unfortunately his Dynamic Punch will confuse me, but I just stuck it out since it's not doing much anyways. And Machamp gets taken out by a Strength. Chuck, man, you're a fighting type master. What are you doing? Anyways, Ursaring luckily missed his Dynamic Punch, letting us kill it, but Granbull did hit his. Still though, we are not in danger, so your mom finished them all in one blow. Oh, wait. Now, I was going to fight Morty next, but this first gym trainer completely caught me off guard and Destiny bonded Lady. What the heck, man? It happened so fast. Guys, tell your loved ones you love them. You never know when is the last time you're going to see them. I was able to take out a second one with an Earthquake, but this guy did it again to Dumbo. Are you for real? On top of that, he has a fourth one. Oh, this guy's a psycho. Unfortunately for him, Maverick has Fly, so I can just take him out no problem. Okay, 5 Destiny bonded Gengars. This would have been enough to take out my entire team. And the creators of these games are just not nice people, huh? Well, let's pay our respects to our 2 fallen soldiers. You guys will be missed. The good news is I went to Dragon's Den to get that gift Dratini, which I named Drasna and leveled up to evolve into a Dragonite. I also figured Morty would have Destiny bonding Gengars as well, so I went to Goldenrod to get another gift Pokemon, this time being Eevee. With Eevee, I was able to evolve it into an Espeon who can outspeed and Psychic those Gengars to death. I named her Dawn and made sure to level the team up a bit, just in case. It didn't matter too much though, since Dawn's Psychic was just too powerful. She was able to single-handedly take out 3 of his Gengars. His Misdreavus perished Song, but that died as well. Ariados too, and is that a Ho-Oh? Oh, come on. Fearing the worst, I went into Drasna to take a Hyper Beam. Like, seriously. Hyper Beam? Now, I actually really messed up here since I forgot this Dragonite came with the move Waterfall, and Ho-Oh needed to recharge. I could have easily gotten some damage off, but instead, I got a free switch into your mom. He did just use Safeguard, so we got a decent chunk with Strength. Did it matter though? No, since this thing has Recover. On top of that, he burned us with Sacred Fire. Our Strength is literally doing nothing now, so I went straight into JJ, who took under half from Sacred Fire, but yeah. Hyper Beam straight up demolished JJ, and he died where he stood. Or I guess where his face was probably smashed into the ground from that Hyper Beam. On the bright side, Jackson got a big surf off on his recharge turn, and eventually that beast was dead. Morty, do you like seeing people suffer? You got 3 Destiny bonding Gengars and a Ho-Oh? Jeez, man. Anyways, after this gym, I went to the power plant in Kento and found myself a Magneton who I named Newton, and he was going to be our newest team member. I did, however, look up where I could get Primeape since I needed a fighting type for Whitney. The Pokedex said there was some in Cerulean Cave, and lo and behold, that was our first encounter there. Whitney led Clefable, and I did Karate Chop doing half, but here comes that annoying Dynamic Punch strat again. We did manage to break out for the kill on Clefable and for Wigglytuff as well with our Cross Chop. We completely snapped out for her Stantler, and unfortunately the luck ran out here because I missed my Cross Chop on Tauros. From here I went into the Great Newton, who tanked the Thrash on entry, but took a crit on our second turn. This Tauros is out for blood. A Thunder did hit though, leaving her super weak. The good news is she got confused, so I was able to switch into your mom for free, and she got off of rest, so 2 more returns put this Tauros in its place. Yeah, her Miltank is actually anything but scary, and the same can be said for her Blissey. Oh, come on. They didn't get rid of her crying. Even Claire didn't storm off, refusing to give me the badge. Get over yourself. We got 2 more badges left, starting with Bugsy. He let a Butterfree. Bugsy, it's too late in the game for this. His second Pokemon, however, was a Sudowoodo, which was bad for Maverick, so I went into Jackson taking half from a Rock Slide. From here, Newt can come in and get a useless Thunder Wave off, and a Thunder can almost KO. I went for a Tri-Attack thinking it would kill, and since it's 100% accurate, but yeah, no, it didn't do anything. Come on, Newt. We did live on 18 HP though, so that was gone. Heracross was up next, and of course Maverick took care of that, and this Scissor did Swords Dance, but I think the only thing this thing has is Fury Cutter, so after a couple of flies, yeah, that's down. The rest of his team also died to fly. Yeah, bug types aren't the greatest in these games. Finally, we can take on our final challenge in the Johto region, Falkner. Jackson was able to take out his Pidgeot with an Ice Beam, but for Skarmory, I had to switch. I got into free into Newton since he used Agility, and right after, our Thunder missed. This thing can't hit me though, so that went down super easy. However, Falkner was just getting warmed up since somehow he caught a Zapdos. Well, unlike Morty, at least this thing's typing correlates to the gym it's in. I immediately went into the almighty Mom that is Snorlax, and yeah, we got paralyzed, and Return didn't even do half. On top of that, he got a crit 2 turns later. Oh well, Mom. I sent out Drasna next, and thankfully she dodged a big Thunder from this beast. The following turn, his Thunder did over half, and our Waterfall, well, it did nothing, to say the least. I went into Donna and took massive damage from his Thunder, but thankfully he missed his second one, meaning a Psychic can KO this thing once and for all. I do have Morning Sun on Dawn, so I just used that until we were healthy and eventually took that out. And his Dodrio and Fearow as well. Unfortunately, flying types aren't that good either, hence why they're not the final gyms in any of the games. That's it, ladies and gents, we have played the entire game backwards and we only have 1 challenge left, the Elite Four. Now obviously I've been guessing the levels the entire time, so just to be safe, I figured they were going to be the early 70s and 80s, but yeah, they weren't. They were actually kind of weird, starting at like level 55 and all the way to 70. But don't count these guys out yet because they actually gave me some trouble. The first guy was no problem and I just swept him, but it was weird because his level instantly spiked from 55 to 65. The second Elite Four member was Doom, and I love how they put the bench in his sprite, but this was kind of the same deal. We demolished 2 Pokemon at level 55, and then boom, level 68 Ammonite. And it was shiny. A Thunder took that out, and again, the rest of his team was just dead to fly. Really weird on the level spikeage there. This happened for the third Elite Four member as well, so I won't show that, but the final Elite Four member led a Gengar, and yes, I am traumatized from these things because of their Destiny Bond. That's not what he used though. Now see, he got a crit Thunder, meaning Maverick here was dead. Also, I forgot to heal a previous paralysis, which I'm noticing now as I write the script for it. Dang it. But anyways, Dong took care of that, but then a Steelix came out, and Jackson easily took care of that, but then a Slowbro came out, so I had to do some more switching, this time into Newton. He did paralyze us and then surfed us, but we did manage to hit a Thunder, and that was a complete one-shot. Oh, why wouldn't his Dragonite have Dynamic Punch? 50% accurate move, by the way. On top of that, I hit myself in confusion, so Drasna nearly died from that Ice Beam. Luckily, your mom came in to save the day once again. Bro, does this guy have an answer for my entire team? Alright, well, it's definitely going for a fighting type move. Mega Horn? How do you even predict me like that? Bro, just look at the pause in my gameplay. I'm just in utter shock here. Flabbergasted, if you will. We didn't even need to lose her since your mom took this thing right out. I honestly thought it was over here, but luckily it didn't have any fighting type moves, and now it's Battle of the Moms, but our Return just does way too much damage to this mom. Alright, those deaths were totally uncalled for, but I proceeded into the champion's chambers with my mom in the back. The champion was Shock Slayer, which I believe is the creator of the game, which is super cool. I led Drasna as he led a shiny Cloyster. You know, I had a shiny Cloyster in my Rainbow run if you do want to check that out. But anyways, that was no issue for Drasna. His Tyranitar was up next, and I wasn't doing any damage, and he was, so I just decided to sack Drasna here so I can get a free switch on this monster of a Pokemon. A Surf was able to finish it from here where it was at, and then Zeus came out. I went into Snorlax fearing a Thunder, but he just went for Growth. I'm guessing he doesn't have Thunder since he just used Hidden Power, and a single Return KO'd him. Blissey was no issue to no one's surprise, but then he had a Scissor. A very cool looking Scissor. It was just using Substitute over and over, and the Sandstorm was getting us super low. He almost KO'd us with his hidden power, but we lived on 36 HP, and thankfully a return did kill from where he was at. Finally, his last Pokemon was a shiny Skarmory, and I swear, some shinies just look better in their Gen 2 sprite. Cynical. But anyways, I sacked your mom, and a single Thunder from Newton was able to claim our victory. We beat all the gyms backward except for Sabrina and beat the Elite Four. Honestly, it was looking a bit close in the end there. I feel like we would have lost if they were all the same level as us. Oh, it's a shiny Swinub. Oh, why tease me if it can't be caught? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you enjoyed it, give it a like already and subscribe, as I'm always posting content. Also, look up this ROM. It was super cool to play through. Yeah. Bye guys.